Good evening, good morning, and good day. Here is something that's been on my mind as of late. The complexities of life in terabyte form. The world is very complex. You don't need me to tell you that. But taking into account those complexities, it can be hard to not overgeneralize various items of discussion. Most notably when it comes to political debate. Like, you may think you have a decent understanding of a topic, and you may consider yourself to have a well-informed opinion on the matter, but sometimes even that's not enough to even break through just the topical level. Sometimes it's worth zooming in, where you will find with any topic that there is a long and complex history, there's the full context of the issue in modern times, there are different perspectives that must be accounted for. In other words, there's a lot of nuance. And so within those complexities, there are terabytes of information. Realistically, it's like zettabytes or yottabytes or whatever kind of bytes those are. But that doesn't sound all that good. Nobody's really familiar with those terms, I don't think. At least I wasn't. I had to Google that shit. So for the sake of simplicity, we will just say terabytes. But that is why I hate memes so much. So much. Because when it comes to political discourse, like, yes, memes can be funny, they can prove a point, and I understand that they are not all meant to be taken super serious. Sometimes it's all in good fun, and there is nothing wrong with that. The problem is that memes can take a very complex issue, distill it down to just a few words and an image, and people think that's the full picture. Or at least people don't tend to think beyond that like one-dimensional piece of information. Again, life is very complex. Complex! I have a complex. And there's a lot of information to consider. So when people are having debates or discussions that involve dates, names, events, anything that takes you more in depth and that you might not be familiar with, it will take some time to dissect and analyze all the information that is being presented. Does that make any kind of sense? So when you have people that maybe are not necessarily reading books or watching lectures or reading news articles or really trying to keep themselves up to date and well informed on the variety of issues that we are all facing currently and collectively, there are a lot of people that do take those one-dimensional items of thought, and that has a huge impact on their worldview. So yeah, you can have a problem when people put a lot of stock into things like memes. Not saying that everyone does, and not saying that that's your only source of information. I'm just fucking saying that it is impossible to see a meme that is not overgeneralized. They have no form of nuance whatsoever. And it's just funny how a few words and an image can invoke a pure sense of anger if that particular meme contradicts your worldview, or how funny it is that a few words and an image can completely reinforce your worldview. So it's like if all you get are the crumbs of information and you don't always seek out those more hearty meals of knowledge, like maybe a book or a lecture or a well-cited documentary, then you will be intellectually malnourished. But don't take it from me, I'm the fucking smartest dumb person I know. So here, let me put this a different way. I watch a lot of The Daily Show, and I watch a lot of Ben Shapiro. Two very opposite sources of information. Recently, I've been watching Shapiro make fun of leftists on TikTok, which was pretty funny and pretty sad at times. But Jordan Klepper on The Daily Show, he will do the same thing, where he will go to like a Trump rally or something and he will interview the people that are there, but what they are both doing, one from the left and one from the right, they are both going after the bottom of the barrel on either side. It's not that these people are stupid, because they're not. They are misinformed. It's like what George Carlin said, where the education system was never designed to create a population capable of critical thinking, because the owners of the country do not want a nation with people capable of critical thought. They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. And that's me. You know, people just smart enough to work the factories, but not smart enough to actually start thinking about the system in which they live. So then you get a bunch of people that are just kind of made to do factory work, you know, like me, because I work in a warehouse. Yep, that's me. But it's like people on both sides of the political spectrum are literally so, like, you guys have so many things in common. Like, you guys are both more similar than you realize. As someone who kind of likes to think that I'm outside of the political spectrum, at least to a degree, because I can see a lot of improvements to both the Democratic and Republican Party, and both sides in general, along with society and government, but still. But yeah, these people, whether they are being interviewed by Jordan Klepper or they are being dissected by Ben Shapiro, and of course he does debate them on his own time. I just happen to have watched those TikTok videos, so it's fresh in my mind. Anyways, but yeah, these people that are getting made fun of, they don't always have a good grip on the issues at hand. And then it's easy for someone on the other side of the aisle to then point and be like, ha, this is what the people on the left think. Ha, this is what people on the right think. Look how stupid they are. But it's like, they're not stupid. They're really not. They are just your fellow Americans who you have way more in common with, and we all have similar problems. It's just that depending on what media outlet you subscribe to, like this one, you will be repeatedly shown what the other side is doing and why you should hate it, or why you should vehemently disagree. But it also just goes back to the fact that staying informed is actually really hard. It's very time consuming to always stay up to date on everything that's happening all the time. But to get a better understanding of the world around you, again, it goes back to those terabytes of information. There is so much information out there. You cannot rely on surface level discussions to get an adequate viewpoint of the topic at hand. For instance, it takes no effort to blame either the left or the right as, man, the left are destroying the country. Man, the right are destroying the country. Like, you see that on Reddit all the time, but that's a different video discussion. I guess to kind of highlight it super quick. No, we're not going to. I just think it would be more beneficial if we started looking at things in a more nuanced and critical way instead of always using those overgeneralizations or using the bottom of the barrel of the other side to justify our own way of thinking, and to have a more well-rounded opinion on the topic. And you don't have to know everything yourself. I certainly don't, and that's why I watch Trevor Noah, and that's why I watch Ben Shapiro. I have mad respect for both, and watching both will give you a pretty good understanding of, I don't know. Again, life is very complex. It's very hard to know everything at all the time. How many times can I repeat myself here? So no, you don't have to know everything. You just have to know where to look and how to properly question it. And that's all I was gonna say. So yep, that's another, yep, so that's another, I don't know. Yep, so that was all I was going to say about that. So I'll be seeing you guys on the next video. Yep, okay, bye.